Hold on a sec. Technical. So, welcome everyone to this morning's class. We're reading from Caitanya Charitamrita. This is we're starting a new chapter, chapter 9 of the Madhya Lila, called Lord Chaitanya's Travels to the Holy Places. So this is a very ecstatic chapter, and we're beginning from text 1. So I'll try to cover text 1 to 8 today. So text 1. Nana Mata Graha Grastan. Maybe I'll just say it. Dakshinatya Janadvipan Kriparina Vimuchaitan Goras Chakre Savaishnavan. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted the inhabitants of South India. These people were as strong as elephants, but they were in the clutches of the crocodiles of various philosophies, such as the Buddhist, Jain, and Mayavad philosophies. With his disc of mercy, the Lord delivered them all by converting them into Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. So purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's converting the people of South India into Vaishnavas is compared herein to Lord Vishnu's delivering Gajendra the elephant from the attack of a crocodile. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited southern India, almost all the residents were within the jaws of the crocodiles of Buddhist, Jain, and Mayavad philosophy. Here Kaviraj Goswami states that although these people were as strong as elephants, they were almost in the clutches of death, because they were being attacked by the crocodiles of various philosophies. However, just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the form of Vishnu, saved the elephant Gajendra from the clutches of a crocodile, so he saved all the people of South India from the clutches of various philosophies by converting them into Vaishnavas. So this is very nice. Krishna's Kaviraj is referring to a pastime from the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Gajendra is an elephant, and he's the king of elephants, and he's going with his whole family, his whole squad of elephants, to enjoy in the heavenly place where there's a nice river. And they go into the river, they're splashing each other, they're sucking up water in their trunks and spraying it on each other and having a good old time, enjoying life. And then all of a sudden Gajendra gets bit by a crocodile who's lurking there under the water. And then, of course, the crocodile. This thing is difficult. The crocodile is a creature of the water, so he's in his position of strength in the water. And even though Gajendra is bigger and stronger and able to, easily crush a crocodile, but because he's not in his element, elephant is an animal of the land, then he's not in a position of strength, and so he's not able to defeat the crocodile. And in fact, Gajendra is like dying there in the river. But Gajendra is fortunate because it just so happened that in his previous life he was a devotee, so he remembered some mantras and prayers that he had learned from the Shastras, from his gurus and teachers in his last life, and he was able to recite those prayers, call out to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu came on the back of Garuda, flying in immediately, and with his Sudarshan Chakra, his lethal disc weapon, he sliced off the head of the crocodile and saved Gajendra. So, in this purport here, in the verse itself, Krishna's Kaviraj is using this analogy, this metaphor, that they were these people in South India, they were strong, like an elephant is very strong. So they were very strong people. They were physically strong, mentally strong, philosophically strong. But because they were in the clutches of the crocodiles of various philosophies, then they became weak. So I was meditating on this situation of the people of South India being diverted by Buddhist and Jain and Mayavad philosophy. And I was thinking that, we are also very strong. As souls, we have tremendous strength. The soul has inconceivable potency. Even though we're 1/10,000th the size of a tip of a hair, still we're parts and parcels of Krishna. And Krishna's potency is unlimited. So as spiritual beings, we have so much potency that we can't even imagine. it's said that at one point or other in our sojourn in the material world, we all occupied the post of Brahma. So Brahma creates the universe. He creates planets. He does so many amazing things. So we have the capability to create planets. And if we look at the descriptions of the 8 mystic siddhis, the different mystic powers, you can make yourself tiny, like smaller than the smallest, or you can make yourself weightless. You can make yourself huge, or you can control the mind of someone. You can obtain prapti. You can just by your desire, your mental strength, you can obtain whatever it is from anywhere in the universe. You can just get it in your hands. So the soul has the potential to have all of these powers, and those are actually intrinsic to the soul. But one could say that the main potency of the soul is the power to love, because that's why we exist. we exist to love Krishna and to engage in loving service and enjoy loving relationships with Krishna and his eternal associates. But unfortunately, when we take on a material body, then all of our powers become diminished. We accept the limitation of a material body. We accept the more we identify with the material body, the more we resign ourselves to very limited senses, very limited material intelligence, to a mind that's flickering and hard to control and heavily conditioned. And we just identify with these things and resign ourselves to, that this is my condition. That I am a person who's weak, who's vulnerable, who gets sick, who gets hurt, who dies. But it's not who we are. That's really not who we are. So, we've been telling ourselves this false narrative for so many lifetimes, and it's a crocodile. It's a crocodile that has a grip on us. This false identification with the body and all the limitations that come with the body. So, when a crocodile is biting you, it doesn't only restrict your movement, but it hurts. It's painful. So we're suffering in this material world due to our false beliefs, due to the stories that we tell ourselves, due to the conditioning that we have that comes with taking on a material body and allowing ourselves to be influenced by especially the lower modes of material nature that really debilitate us. So I was thinking, just taking on a material body is already like a big restriction for the spirit soul. But then after having taken on a material body, we have choices for how we are going to live our lives. And according to choices we make, we can either empower or disempower ourselves. So what are some of the ways that we voluntarily debilitate ourselves in this life? Like, what are the things that we do to disadvantage ourselves?
Getting married to a materialistic person.
Okay, so we get into relationships that are draining, that are oppressive, that are just a struggle, right? Sometimes we get into codependent relationships where we feel like we need the person, and maybe even an abusive relationship where that person is just harming us and emotionally destroying us, but we get trapped in that relationship, just like trapped in the jaws of a crocodile that's causing us so much pain and restricting us. So yeah, good one. What else? Intoxication. We voluntarily poison ourselves, as if the body wasn't already a problem, right? As if it didn't already give us so much pain, and it gets hungry and it gets tired and and it gets hurt. So we're gonna just pour poison. Actually, I saw a meme recently that the meme was that these two old men were sitting together. These two kind of low class guys, and they were sitting together. And one was, I think actually one was an exterminator. That was his job. So he was explaining to the other guy, he's like, yeah. So the context is that they're sitting in some fast food restaurant, eating these big greasy burgers, right? And the exterminator is telling his friend that he's like, yeah, the rats, they think this thing is food, but it's actually poison, and they eat it and they die. These guys are like in, McDonald's about to eat a Big Mac, like thinking it's food, but it's actually poison that's going to kill them. So it's just, that's what people do. They eat things, they put, diet and literally intoxication means you're ingesting toxic substances into your body. And it makes one dysfunctional. Right? Like I remember one time I went to a ski event. This is before I became a devotee. It was like this, I was in college. I think I was in my freshman year, sophomore year in college. And my friends were like, let's go to this ski thing. It was in Maine, so it was like this mountain. It was all snowy and it was freezing cold. It was like below zero temperatures. And we had this grandiose idea that we were going to like sleep in a tent and everything and sub-zero temperatures and then go skiing all day the next day. And like that. So we were in the ski lodge waiting for our other friends to join us. And then we didn't have anything else to do. And, college students, so everybody was just basically getting intoxicated. And then, and then friends came and then we're like, okay, let's go find a place and set up our tents. So we're literally setting up the tent in the snow. It's like ice, snow, it's 10 below zero. And then it's one of those simple tents. It's like a little dome tent with those, tension poles that stretch, and you have to put the end of the pole into the little hole in the. It was ridiculous. He was like, "Okay, grab the pole and put it in the thing," and the person's on the other side like, He couldn't even do this simple, basic task because they just obliterated their consciousness, and then we're just standing there like, oh my God, if we don't get this tent up, we're gonna die. Like literally, it was literally a life or death situation. And it was just crazy how everybody had just voluntarily rendered themselves useless to intoxication. Anyway, somehow or other, so I think some people came over and helped. Got the tent up and everybody survived. But yeah, so it's a big way that people disadvantage themselves. What are some other things, Amia?
Self-defeating thoughts and limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like what are some of the things that we tell it? What are some examples?
I'm not good enough to deserve this, or I'm not capable.
I'm not capable, I'm not good enough, I'm useless, I'm just, a victim, and people should just go on victimizing me.
And I'll be like this forever.
I'll be like this forever. There's nothing that I can do. I was born into this situation. This is my destiny, right? Like that. Yeah, I can't change. I've been like this for so long, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Just forget about me and move on with your life. Yeah. So we tell ourselves all these like debilitating narratives, or we have these beliefs about ourselves. And so a lot of like mental health therapists, they'll tell people to, when you wake up in the morning, stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself that I'm a good person, I have value, I am, worthy of being loved. Because so many people tell themselves the opposite and they believe those things, and then they just get stuck in a rut of depression and dysfunction, and it's a crocodile, big crocodile. It's painful. It's a painful life. It's a painful way to live, and you're stuck. You get stuck in the place of weakness. So, yeah. So fortunately, there's the mercy of Lord Caitanya. And so that's what this verse is saying, that all these people were stuck in the jaws of the crocodile, but Lord Caitanya came and he delivered them all with his, let's say here, Kripa Arina. So Kripa means mercy and Arina means disc. So he comes in with his disc of mercy, and he just throws that disc in there and he cuts off the head of all these crocodiles. The crocodiles of our debilitating narratives, the crocodiles of our addiction to intoxication, the crocodiles of our abusive, oppressive relationships that we get ourselves, all the things that we get stuck in that make us weak, that hold us in a painful condition of weakness, that stop us from going forward and actually realizing our true potential as human beings, as spirit souls. So Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya, we need to pray to Lord Chaitanya, take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, and please, I'm stuck in this rut. I'm in the jaws of this crocodile, right? We all have our little crocodiles. Some are bigger, some are baby crocodiles, and some are big, strong crocodiles. But we all have our crocodiles, and so we need to pray to Krishna just like Gajendra did. Pray, call out to Lord Vishnu, please save me. I'm not able. This thing has really, it's destroying me. I'm not strong enough to defeat this crocodile. It's dragged me into the depths of, the waters of disadvantage, basically. And I need you to come and throw the disc. And Lord Chaitanya will do that because he's the mercy incarnation. He's the manifestation of compassion, and he's there to help. So let's go on here, read a few more verses. Text 2 is the classic text 2 of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu. And all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 3. Dakshina Gamana Prabhura Ati Vilakshana Sahasra Sahasra Tirtha Kaila Darashana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tour of South India was certainly very extraordinary because he witnessed many thousands of places of pilgrimage there. So Lord Chaitanya went all over. He went to every town and village of India, visiting thousands of places. Se Sabha Tirtha Sparshi Mahatirtha Kaila Se Chale Se Deshera Loka Nistarila. On the plea of visiting all these holy places, the Lord converted many thousands of residents and thus delivered them. Simply by touching the holy places, he made them into great places of pilgrimage. So this is the Lord's mercy that it was on the plea of, I'm going to go on pilgrimage and visit all these holy places, but actually he was going there to deliver the people. He was going there to give his association and to kill the crocodiles. He was going crocodile hunting. So Srila Prabhupada's purport. It is said, Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani. A tirtha, or holy place, is a place where great saintly personalities visit or reside. Although the holy places were already places of pilgrimage, they were all purified by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit. Many people go to these holy places and leave their sinful activities there, thus becoming free from contamination. When these contaminations pile up, they are counteracted by the visit of great personalities like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his strict followers. Many kinds of patients come to a hospital, which may be infected by many types of diseases. Actually, the hospital is always infected, but the expert physician keeps the hospital sterilized by his expert presence and management. Similarly, places of pilgrimage are always infected by the sins left by the sinners who go there. But when a personality like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits such a place, all contaminations vanish. So, I was thinking that, here we are in Kalachandji Dham, and it's a place of pilgrimage. At the same time, there are unsavory elements, in the neighborhood. Like the other night, we heard a lot of gunshots. And, many people come here, and people come with varying degrees and varieties of material contaminations. And even amongst the devotee community, sometimes there are some conflicts and tensions and those kinds of things. But so it's like a hospital, people come with all their different varieties and degrees of diseases. But as Prabhupada says, the doctor is there. The doctor is there, and the doctor knows how to cure diseases. So anyone who comes here, they come with all their, infections and contaminations, but Lord Chaitanya is here. Shri Gaura is standing right there. And of course, Radhikala Chanji always steal the show. But we shouldn't forget that Shri Gaura is there, and Lord Chaitanya is so merciful. And the deity is none different from Krishna. So these deities are, Lord Chaitanya's mercy is accessible. See, he's got his hands up like this, Haribol, but he also has that disc there, right? The Kripa Adina is there, on his finger. And if we just ask him, then he can fire it away, and kill all of our crocodiles, and kill all the baby crocodiles that come lurking around the neighborhood, and the big crocodiles, and yeah, we can make it a crocodile-free zone. So that's what happens. People come, and the doctor is there, and they get well. So as things come and go, things surface from time to time, but gradually, everything comes out in the wash here. So yeah, I was thinking of the potency of the deities, and there's one temple near Mayapur Dham. It's in a place called Ambika Kalna. That temple was established by an associate of Lord Caitanya called Gauridas Pandit. And Gauridas Pandit was there, and when Lord Caitanya took sannyas, he was very distraught because he was very attached, obviously, to Lord Chaitanya's personal association. He's thinking, oh no, the Lord is now that he's a sannyasi, he has to travel, he's going to leave Navadvip Dham, and he's not going to come back. I won't see him. Who knows when I'll see him again, if ever. So he was very distressed, and he was crying and begging Lord Chaitanya to stay. Please stay. Why do you have to go? And Lord Chaitanya said, don't worry. The deity, my deity, is non different from myself. And then he turned himself into the deity. Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they turned themselves into Gauranitai deities. And then and they just went and stood there on the altar. And Gauridas Pandit was, and yet at the same time, Gauranitai was still there, like in their moving forms. So the deities of Gauranitai are there, and Gauranitai are also there. And Gauridas Pandit said, yeah, but it's not the same. And Lord Chaitanya said, it is the same. And he said, and Gauridas Pandit said, okay, well, if you're exactly the same as the deities, then let the deities go and you stay. So then Lord Chaitanya said, okay. And then, so then the deities became, started walking out, and then Gauranitai that were standing there, they became the deities. And then Gauridas Pandit said, wait a minute, you're still going, you need to stay. And then Lord Chaitanya said, okay. And then Gauranitai became the deities, and then the deities that were on the altar started walking. And then that happened so many times that Gauridas Pandit forgot, like, who was the original Gauranitai, who were the deities. And in the end, he just had to accept the situation. But then, by that time, he had a very good realization that the Gauranitai deities on the altar are none different from Gauranitai themselves. To the extent that now, the way if you go to that temple, they'll only leave the altar opens, but it only stays open for maybe like 30 seconds or something, and then it closes again. Because the pujaris are afraid that the deities, if you leave it open too long, they're going to walk away. Because it's Gauranitai, and they're completely capable of walking away. So, so in the same way, Gauranitai are here, and they're completely capable of walking away, which gladly they don't. But they're also completely capable of destroying all of our crocodiles of misconceptions and, all of our bad habits, all of our maya, and all of our beliefs and false narratives that we tell ourselves, all the deviant philosophies that come up and disturb us, and as well as lust, anger, greed, and all these things. So we need to really pray to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are the mercy incarnations of the Lord, the most merciful incarnations, who overlook any offenses. They overlook, all of our faults, and they bestow upon us all good qualities. So Gauranitai are here. And let's go on. Text 5. Se sabatirtera krama kahite na pari dakshina vame tirta gamana haya pera peri. I cannot chronologically record all the places of pilgrimage visited by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, he even came to Dallas. I can only summarize everything by saying that the Lord visited all holy places right and left, coming and going. Yeah, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Srila Prabhupada invited Lord Chaitanya to come all over the world, to come to every major city of the world, and his disciples continue inviting him, and Lord Chaitanya accepts every invitation. He's so kind. So, text 6. Ateva namamatra kariya ganana kahite na paritada yata anukrama. Because it is impossible for me to record all these places in chronological order, I will simply make a token gesture of recording them. Text 7, 8, this is the last verses that we'll read. Purvavat pate yaite ye paya darashana ye grame yaya se gramera yata jana sabe vaishnava haya kahe Krishna hari anya grama nishtaraye se vaishnava kari. As previously stated, all the residents of the villages visited by Lord Caitanya became Vaishnavas and began to chant Hari and Krishna. In this way, in all the villages visited by the Lord, everyone became a Vaishnava, a devotee. Purport. The holy names of Krishna and Hari, or the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, are so spiritually powerful that even today, as our preachers go to remote parts of the world, people immediately begin chanting Hare Krishna. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. There cannot be anyone who can compare to him or his potencies. However, because we are following in his footsteps and are also chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the effect is almost as potent as during the time of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Our preachers mainly belong to European and American countries. Yet by the grace of Lord Caitanya, they have tremendous success wherever they go to open branches. Indeed, everywhere people are very seriously chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai. So, not only is Lord Caitanya capable of destroying crocodiles, but so are his sincere followers, those who are following in his footsteps. So Srila Prabhupada says that because we are following in his footsteps, so what does it mean to follow in the footsteps of Lord Caitanya? It means to be bestowers of mercy. It means to go out and visit places, go out to the people and give them the holy name, and also to chant the Hare Krishna mantra very seriously and regularly, if not always, ourselves. So to have very good sadhana and to be good devotees and to go out there and give the mercy to others. So, yeah, we also have to be crocodile hunters. To pray for Lord Chaitanya to destroy our own crocodiles and then get ourselves out of the jaws of death, basically, and then go out there and help others to extricate themselves from the jaws of the crocodile. And it's like, yeah, there are these two analogies here in the previous purport. Prabhupada used the analogy of the doctor. So it's like if there's a disease epidemic and people are sick and people are dying and you're a doctor and you have the medicine and you don't give it, then that's, in one purport in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, that's his definition for violence. He says that is violence. That, you have the method, you have the process for freeing people from suffering, which is the process of bhakti, and you don't give it. That's what, so he, when he's defining the quality of non-violence, he says the quality of non-violence means to go out and give Krishna consciousness to others. This is non-violence. And if you don't do that, then it's violence against the jivas. It's jiva himsa. So that's what it means to be a follower of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya's mission was break open the storehouse of love of God and distribute the contents widely to every town and village all over the world without considering who's qualified and who's unqualified. So let us be instruments of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Let us also be carriers of the Kripa Ardina, the disc of mercy, and let's not hesitate to throw it to save ourselves and save the world from all these vicious crocodiles of deviant philosophies and false beliefs and unhealthy patterns that we get into. So I'll just stop there and open it up for any discussion, questions, or comments. Yes, Amir Radhika. You got the mic there? It's coming?
Maybe you should repeat.
Okay, for a while I'll repeat.
This purport, so the effect is almost as potent as during the time of Lord Chaitanya. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that, what that means. Almost as potent.
Almost as potent. Yeah, so Prabhupada is speaking from, so the question was, it said here that that nowadays, because we're following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the effect is almost as potent as during the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what does that mean, almost as potent? Yeah? You know, the Srila Prabhupada he's writing this purport, and he's speaking from his own experience, his own observation, right? Because he himself traveled around the world and opened centers, and he saw how his followers also did the same, right? Like they started off in New York at 26 2nd Avenue, and as soon as that was kind of going strong, that was looking sustainable, then Srila Prabhupada started thinking where to open the next center. And then Mukunda was there, and you know, he was, even before he met Prabhupada, he was interested in India, in Indian culture and philosophy, and he wanted to go to India. He was the person who saw Prabhupada, and he had been reading books about India, and he saw Prabhupada with his sannyas clothes, and he said, "Oh, are you a sannyasi?" Because he was studying Indian culture. So he had that interest. So then after becoming a devotee, he still wanted to go to India, and so he expressed to Prabhupada that, I mean, he went ahead and booked his ticket to India, along with Janaki, his wife. So they told Prabhupada, we're going to India and we have our tickets, and tickets going via San Francisco. So we'll fly from New York to San Francisco, and from San Francisco we're going to India. So Prabhupada said, oh, that's very nice. While you're in San Francisco, can you try to open a center there? He just mentioned just like, you know, just casually, you know, like, okay, you're stopping in San Francisco, maybe you can open a center there. So Mukunda Raj, in his book, Miracle on 2nd Avenue, is it that book where he talks about it? I think so. He talks about how when Prabhupada said that, he really had no intention of opening a center in San Francisco. He was just like, all right, you know, kind of like, you know, like dream on, like that's not gonna, like how am I possibly gonna do that? But then it just so happened they went to San Francisco, and then they went to visit some old friends, Sam and Melanie, who were living in a, you know, a lookout tower in the redwood forest, Northern California, and then they just happened to mention that they'd met a Swami, and they were, you know, giving up intoxication, and they were chanting Hare Krishna, and then Sam and Melanie got interested, and then Mukunda happened to mention that they had been asked to open a center, and then all of Sam was just like, yeah, let's do it. That sounds like a great thing to do. And then the four of them went down to San Francisco, and they met other people, and they just opened a center. Like it just happened. So, and that's the potency. That's what we're talking about. That almost as potent. There's just two people who are very new devotees, right? I mean, at least in that lifetime, they were very new. They'd been practicing Krishna consciousness for a relatively short time, and they didn't even have a hugely strong desire to open a center. But this instruction was there, so a little spark of, you know, the thought was there. And then by the potency of Lord Chaitanya just brought everything together. He just brought in the support, the right people, the enthusiasm, the money, the place became available. And then they opened a center in San Francisco. And then after that, the same people, they teamed up, the same couples, right? Wasn't it? Mukunda Janaki. And then Sam and Melanie became Shamasundar and Malati. And then they joined forces with Yamuna Devi and Gurudas Prabhu. And then the six of them went to London, and they did the same thing. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. They didn't know a soul in London. They had no money. But by the potency of Lord Chaitanya, they were empowered. You know, they were literally empowered. They met the Beatles. They opened a center. They had this like epic Ratha Yatra that made the headlines in the, you know, London newspapers. And Prabhupada was so happy. And then they opened the temple, and so that continues to thrive. So yeah, Prabhupada was seeing this at the time when he wrote this purport. These things had already happened, you know. So he was seeing how this is just incredible. Like he said, it's not just wherever Lord Chaitanya went, he was able to, you know, convert people to Vaishnavism and make people give up all these bogus philosophies and bad habits and become pure devotees. But he was seeing that he himself was able to do it. And not just himself, but even his disciples, and even his new disciples, you know, this fledgling, you know, just newly initiated disciples were being empowered by Lord Caitanya, and that their potency was literally almost as much as during the time of Lord Caitanya, because they were attracting hundreds and thousands of people to come and chant Hare Krishna and holding huge festivals. And it was, I mean, unimaginable, what was happening. So it was very clear to Prabhupada that this was beyond human capability. This was the potency of Lord Chaitanya that was coming through. And that empowerment is still available, right? It's still available to us. It didn't finish, with Srila Prabhupada or Srila Prabhupada's disciples. But this is the great boon of parampara, of the disciplic succession, is that the potency, it's a live wire, it's like a live wire. And whoever connects to it gets empowered, gets electrified with this spiritual potency coming from Lord Chaitanya. So we just need to, plug in and basically get free from the crocodiles, because we can also do this. We can also go and open new centers. We can also go and make hundreds of people into devotees. We just need to get ourselves out of the jaws of the crocodile, all the things that are holding us back, all these things that go on in our mind that convince us that we can't do it, that we're not qualified, that we're incapable, that people are against us, that we don't have the resources, that Krishna won't help me, and we need to start a new narrative, that actually I'm so fortunate that I have, I'm connected to this incredible, spiritually potent line of acharyas, who are connected to Lord Chaitanya, who are giving out the mercy. And just personally, I'm, an immensely powerful spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I'm very valuable. I'm loved by Krishna. Krishna is a loving, caring God. He's always there to help me. He provides whatever I need. I don't have to worry. He protects, he provides, he supports, he enlightens, he gives everything, right? And he says in so many places, like especially in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says that Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam pratipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te, that whoever is devoted to serving him with love, he gives the intelligence by which they can come to him and by which they can also bring others to him. And also he says that whoever serves me with unalloyed devotion, that I preserve what they have and I carry what they lack. So that means whatever we need, he's going to provide. And then he says in the same, he says, declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. He protects us. So just in that one chapter, he's like repeatedly saying that I am here. I'm going to give you the intelligence. I'm going to give you whatever resources you need. I'm going to protect you from any, adversity, adverse elements, and, you can do it. And that's why, because Krishna could have killed, in the Battle of Kurukshetra, since we're on Bhagavad Gita now, in the Battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna could have killed all of those demons, like just by looking at them, just by thinking, just by willing it to be done, but he wants Arjuna to do it. Why? Because Krishna he prefers his devotees to do wonderful things. He wants to empower his devotees. So in the same way that he empowered Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra, he wants to empower us. He literally wants to do that. That's how Krishna works. Like one time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, he traveled only through India. Like we hear he's going to all the different places in India. Why didn't he go to the other parts of the world? If he wanted Krishna consciousness spread every town and village, why didn't he do it? And then Srila Prabhupada said, he wanted me to get the credit. He left that for me. He wanted me to get the glory. So that's the characteristic of the Lord, that he wants his devotees to get the credit. He wants to empower us and see us do glorious things. He wanted Arjuna to be the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra. So like that's the nature of the Lord. So yeah, the potency is there. We just need to get ourselves out of the jaws of the crocodile and go for it. Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes. Did the mic come?
Sure. You were talking about going out to preach Krishna consciousness. I think they were referring to Sankirtan activities like book distribution, just giving lectures in college campuses. There's so many ways to do Sankirtan book distribution. A lot of devotees, or many people, they feel like they'd rather not worship God in that way. They don't feel inclined. They like being devotees, and they love to come and do service to Radha Kalachanti. And but when it comes to this going out thing that you're talking about, it's unappealing to most devotees. They like hearing the stories about Sankirtan back in the day, but to actually go out and make that history themselves is, they just rather this. If you ask them, they say, "Well, I just don't want to. Book distribution's not for me, or that's just not me. I don't want to do that kind of thing." So, what are we missing when we avoid Sankirtan?
Yeah, missing a lot of nectar. That's where so much nectar in sharing Krishna consciousness, especially going out there on the front lines, and just, you don't know what's going to happen. You're just putting yourself out there at the mercy of Lord Caitanya. Of course, Lord Chaitanya's mercy is always a good thing, so it's always going to be good. But even if you have a nature that you prefer to stay in the temple, do temple services, or contribute in other ways, then at least support those who are going out. Be like a what do you call it? Back, like like in the army, in the military, you've got your frontline soldiers who are going out and actually going into battle. But then you've got the whole backup crew. You've got the cooks, you've got the medics, you've got the administration, and air traffic control, and all these logistic people, and there are probably more of those than there are even soldiers. So that's needed too. So if you're a pujari, then devotees going out in book distribution, save a plate of mahaprasadam for them. Tell them, I got you a big plate from Rajabhog, and when you come back, you're good. Or just encourage the devotees, express appreciation for devotees who are going out, because it's not an easy service to go out there every day. So encourage them, support them, serve them in whatever way possible. And then by doing that, then we may receive Lord Chaitanya's merciful glance and get the inspiration one day to go out ourselves and get that nectar. Would you like to add something, Brihat? Yeah, Brihat Rananga here is a front man's guy. He's a front lines person. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first off, just my experience going out, even recently, just walking down to the corner and just whoever shows up, I talk to. And it's such an incredible taste. It's really, nothing that compares to it, my experience. Because like you're saying, you just put yourself in the mercy of Lord Caitanya, and you have no idea what's going to happen. And every day, even if I go out for just 30 minutes, it's very obvious that there was one person who was just waiting to receive a connection with Kalachandi's temple. I was going to also add that we can do Sankirtan at different levels. Like one level is going out on the front lines, another level is training those who are going on the front lines. Like yourself, you're teaching Bhakti Shastri to devotees, and if you, well, I know you will, infuse a mood of Sankirtan in your education, then it will inspire the students to go out on the front lines. So by your teaching, you're inspiring many others. I think education is a huge part. What's the angle that we're really presenting? Are we presenting Srila Prabhupada's missionary zeal or enthusiasm? Is a better word. Do we highlight Srila Prabhupada's emphasis on book distribution and going out on the street, or do we just kind of avoid that education?
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, of course, education is very important. When I was I was teaching Bhakti Shastri in Mayapur school to the high school students, and I was really like, because I was a frontlines person for many years. I did a lot of book distribution, traveling Sankirtan I was a full-time Sankirtan devotee for years and years and years, and I maintained even my Grihastha life, and we just did book distribution. We didn't that's all we did. That was like how we maintained the family, was through book distribution. So my life was basically like book distribution for the first 25 years, at least, my Krishna consciousness. So I was very much in that mood, and I was teaching Bhakti Shastri to his high school students, and I was like, Lord Caitanya, Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission, and book distribution, preaching is where it's at. And because of that, then I saw that, they're becoming preachers, that they, in their own ways, in different ways, they're trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. Like Gaurangi Gandharvika, she went to whole preaching to, children, his children's programs, cultivating children and like that. So, like Vaisheshwar Guru says, where attention goes, energy flows. So if we put our attention, if we talk about these things, we put our attention on outreach and, book distribution, how to share Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said we need to rack our brains, So that he would always say that you young American boys and girls, you have this intelligence, and you need to use, what is the use of your intelligence if you don't use it to spread Krishna consciousness?
I thought of a point as you were speaking that a teacher is in a leadership role, and also our administrative leaders in ISKCON ideally set the example. Maybe it's not every day, but on a regular basis, going out on the front lines. Like I remember in Houston, Suranga Thakur Prabhu, he would come out to the zoo Harinam regularly, and it was amazing to see him dancing in the Harinam. Usually see him as the respected temple president.
Yeah.
Of course, we still have respect out there, but it's more of a sweet, kind of familiar mood out there. It really grew my affection and appreciation for Suranga Thakur Prabhu, seeing him out there on the front lines. And he was, by his example, really encouraging that activity. So I think it's very important that leaders go out on a regular basis, even if it's small, just to show that this is a very important thing.
Yeah.
That's how Vaisheshwar Guru puts it too, that a leader, at least they need to just encourage the right activities. They promote the right things. But ideally, not just with the words, but with their actions.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Also, that gives the leaders a break from all the meetings and all the dramas of the temple. Just get out there, forget it all, just lose yourself in Harinam, book distribution. Sure, from the altar.
Hare Krishna. So, after Vaisheshika Prabhu, the book distribution party goes out, and the people that cannot go out, men, women, children, who are there, they gather in the temple room, they pray for them. They say national prayers, they say protective prayers from Baba. He has a list of prayers for protection. They say they read those, and then once in a while they get a call from book distribution. There's a scheduled calls periodically. They call from the field and give an update on what is the most we collect, like that. So it's an interactive thing, and everybody participates in it.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so everybody feels connected. Like I may not be out there, but I'm with them in spirit. I'm supporting them. I'm praying for them. I'm keeping in touch with them. I'm informed of what's going on, and then you feel like you're a part of it. This is my thing too. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, just want to comment on the questions that are going on, like how the book distribution is the part of the worshiping to the Lord, right? So we are in the Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, Kali Kali Namarupa Krishna. So in Kali Yuga, Krishna is in a literary form. So when we distribute the book, somebody will read that, even though they do not see the Krishna, so they can see the Krishna in the literary form, the name form. And the same is supported in the Bhagavatam, the last verse, 12.13-23. So non-sankritanamyasya sarva papa pranashana. So once they read the whatever the scriptures they are taking related to Krishna. So Krishna is there in each and every word. So all the sins go away. As you were saying that Lord Caitanya through the disc, and by that disc all the like the sins whatever they had that. So, yeah, so we can only see Krishna in the form of the name, whether by chanting or whether by reading. And they may not think like by reading that is the Krishna, but one time they will come on that level and they will believe that because by mercy of Krishna we get Guru, and by mercy of Guru we get Krishna. Meaning, so Krishna is somehow manifesting and giving the mercy, and they are reading the book, and by that way they will come to the level they will accept the Guru, and then they will really get the Krishna.
Yeah, these books are very powerful. Prabhupada said they're written kirtan. So like you said, that if people read the books, they're going to get the holy name, because Hare Krishna mantra, just like in this purport, we have the whole Hare Krishna mantra. So there are many purports where the holy names are there, the whole Hare Krishna mantra is there. And some people get inspired. People become devotees just by reading the book, sometimes even without meeting a devotee. Right? So the potency is there. Yes, Amiya.
Just going back to this question about some devotees feel that it's not their nature to go out and focus on their own. And I was thinking from my personal experience, when devotees were like,
Put the mic closer to you.
devotees were encouraging me to go out, and it's the scariest thing. And I was very introverted, very quiet, approaching people on the streets, talking to them. It just sounds so intimidating. And I remember many times I would just like hide or cry, on books. But then I realized what changed for me is that I felt devotees who were centered devotees, they showered a lot of their mercy on me. They gave me a taste, and they taught me, how to do it. And so through their mercy, I feel like I received Lord Chaitanya's mercy through these devotees, and I'm so grateful for that. They would just teach me how to go beyond my shell and approach people. And I feel like that's where my transformation came from, is through examples of people being taught. And the personalized teaching. I feel like everyone has their own mood in books. Some people are very, you can go up to anyone. Some people are more reserved and shy. And I feel like book distribution program is accessible to all kinds of people. You just kind of have to be shown how it's made accessible.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that sometimes can be one of our crocodiles too, is that we, one of the debilitating factors is that we see these, Maharati book distributors that go out and distribute like hundreds of books and things, and we think, and it's just effortless for them to go up and talk to somebody and strike up a conversation and totally like get the person on their wavelength and, with their charisma and all that. And then you think, I don't have the personality for it. I'm and we do have different personalities, but the thing is that the crocodile part of it is that we tell ourselves that, I can't be a book distributor because I'm not like that person. I'm not like that successful. And so that's a problem for me. So true, you're not like that person, but it doesn't mean that you can't distribute books in your own way. Right? There's all different ways to approach people and different moods to talk to people. And also there's all different people out there. So there's some people that respond to that kind of person. There's some people that get put off by that kind of person. And then there are people out there that are going to be like, oh, wow, I really like this person's mood of approach because it suits my personality, and they'll connect with you. And also you don't have to distribute 100 books a day. Like Srila Prabhupada tells a story that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as much as he was like his whole thing was Brihat Mridanga, the power of books and the printing press and book distribution. He started the whole thing of book distribution. And, sometimes a brahmachari would go out all day and just distribute one magazine, after approaching people for like